Green Gardening is a company that sells innovative and environmentally friendly gardening tools to nurseries. It started as a small company, but grew significantly over the last few years. With Cedric as CEO, Green Gardening now has customers throughout the country. Due to the growth, poorly maintained customer master data is becoming more and more common. Among other things, this leads to wrong and late deliveries, which more and more customers complain about. To tackle these challenges, Cedric creates a new master data team with Madeline as team lead. Cedric and the new team leads for sales and financials, Sally and Finn, establish a company-wide process for the creation of new customer records. In this process, requests are created by sales. Here, core data such as name, address, and bank details are maintained, as well as data for controlling sales processes, for example, customer classification. The requests are then forwarded to financials for the maintenance of financials data, for example, for controlling processes like payments and reminders. The central master data team then verifies and improves the data. Several quality rules are in place to ensure that the customer data meets the quality standards. To realize these process steps, Green Gardening has implemented the SAP Master Data Governance solution. The growth of Green Gardening continues. More and more garden centers around the world are buying their gardening tools. The small master data team can no longer cope with the amount of work required to approve all the requests for new customers and changes to customer data. Madeline desperately needs additional resources for the team. Madeline invites CEO Cedric and business lead Sally from sales and Finn from financials to a meeting to discuss how to proceed. Madeline recalls the successes of introducing company-wide master data processes and quality rules, but she emphasizes that due to the ever-growing number of customers, the small team can no longer handle all the work and more employees are urgently needed. Sally and Finn also complain about the increasing effort involved in collecting customer data, which is distracting them from their core business. Cedric is bothered by the deteriorating quality of the customer data. Some customers have already complained directly to management, for example about delayed deliveries due to wrong addresses and about incorrect details on their invoices. All meeting participants are dissatisfied with the current situation. Sally and Finn question whether the path taken years ago with company-wide master data processes is still the right one, and they consider introducing local processes. Cedric asks Madeline to come up with solutions for the changed customer situation, taking into account a further growth of the customer base. In addition, entry into the B2C business is planned. In the future, special gardening tools will also be sold directly to end consumers, which will lead to a dramatic increase in customer numbers. However, due to the current cost situation, adding additional resources is not an option. Madeline discusses the latest developments with her team. Could they perhaps process more requests if they were given company cell phones and use them to process requests? The team doesn't like this idea because it would create even more pressure to check and approve requests even outside working hours. Maybe the master data processes could be leaner. Could certain process steps be left out? The team rejects this, as each area should continue to maintain its data independently, with the master data team being responsible for the final approval. Leaving out process steps would have a negative impact on the master data quality. A discussion with Sally and Finn from the business units isn't successful either. Due to the ever-increasing effort, both repeatedly threaten to no longer support the company-wide defined processes and to look for local solutions for their areas. Madeline meets up with her MDM consultant. He mentions another customer with similar challenges, which were solved by the automation of processes, achieving a significant reduction in manual effort. But how can individual steps or even entire processes be automated in green gardening? And what does SAP Master Data Governance offer for this? Madeline and the consultant work out possible solutions. The manual entry of core data, such as names, addresses, and text numbers, is time-consuming. Spelling mistakes are also quite common. Business data providers collect this and other data from companies worldwide. Making use of these providers would save time and the data would also be complete and usually without errors. SAP Master Data Governance supports the use of this data when creating new customers by offering data provider integration. The user can easily search for the relevant company at a business data provider directly from the Master Data Governance UI and transfer the relevant data to a new request with the push of a button. Accumulated data changes to customers can be automatically imported on a regular basis to make sure this data stays up to date. At Green Gardening, the process controlling data for sales and financials is assigned on a basis of predefined rules that depend on a country, a region, and a customer classification. There are exceptions to this only in well-founded exceptional cases. One idea the MDM consultant came up with is to automatically pre-assign this data to new customers in order to save the effort of entering the data. SAP Master Data Governance provides derivation rules for this. Both the condition for the derivation and the fields to be derived with their values can be defined. At Green Gardening, both the sales area and the company code can be assigned based on the customer's country and region. Depending on the customer classification, the data for sales, shipping, and so on is determined for each sales area. The same happens for each company code for the parameters that control processes such as payments and dunning. Madeline and the consultant wonder why the financials team still has to process the many requests for new customers manually. With Master Data Governance, the financials data can be derived automatically. Manual processing by financials is only necessary in exceptional cases if a problem occurs. Effort can also be massively reduced for the master data team in a final approval of customer data. All points to be checked by the master data specialists are stored as validation rules. Manual review and revision of a request is only necessary if problems arise. SAP Master Data Governance offers the option of processing process steps automatically and only generating a workflow task for manual post-processing if a problem occurs. Madeline has a very good feeling about this new approach. The effort for entering new customers is massively reduced by using the business data provider for core data and the automatic derivation of sales data. Madeline expects a 70% reduction in effort for this step. The effort for the financials team is reduced even more. Almost all requests are processed fully automatically, and the company code data is filled in automatically. Madeline expects savings of at least 90%. The same applies to the final approval step by the master data team, where Sally calculates a saving of 90%. This should make it possible to process larger amounts of data. Madeline invites Cedric, Sally, and Finn to a follow-up meeting. Her presentation of the proposed solution for the automation of master data processes and the associated savings potential is met with great approval. They decide to start a project as soon as possible with the aim of automating the master data processes. The successfully completed project leads to a major increase in efficiency. The ever-increasing number of corporate customers can be easily managed by the master data, sales, and financials teams. Cedric invites Madeline, Sally, and Finn to a meeting about building the business with consumers, B2C. Everyone agrees that the manual effort for master data entry should also be minimized right from the start. This is particularly important due to the extremely high number of expected consumers and a low average turnover per consumer. The individual core data should be maintained by the consumer when registering in the portal. This data is sent to SAP Master Data Governance, where a request is generated. The process controlling data for sales and financials is automatically derived using country-specific rules. Manual work by sales, financials, and the master data team is only necessary in individual cases when problems arise. Together with the automation of processes and the implementation in MDG, the company is now ready to handle much larger numbers of international customers.